This is Walking with Jesus, a devotional journey through books of the Bible brought to you by Forest Hill Presbyterian Church. I'm Jason Van Bemmel. We're resuming our Hebrews studies. We're on day 22 now in the book of Hebrews, and that brings us to Hebrews chapter 7. Looking at the first few verses of Hebrews 7 as we begin to ask this question: who was Melchizedek and why is he important? We're going to be doing a series of posts on Melchizedek from Hebrews chapter 7, an obscure but important figure for understanding Jesus. Let's begin with our scripture text, Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 to 3. For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High God, met Abraham returning from a slaughter of the kings, and blessed him. And to him Abraham apportioned a tenth part of everything. He is first, by translation of his name, King of Righteousness, and then he is also King of Salem, that is, King of Peace. He is without father or mother or genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he continues a priest forever. That's Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 to 3 in the English Standard Version. Well, sports fans love to have debates and arguments. If you want to start a debate among baseball fans, just ask them about the designated hitter or what they think about using instant replay to call balls and strikes. Basketball fans may argue over whether or not the 2018 Golden State Warriors or the 1996 Chicago Bulls were the better team. But among evangelical Bible scholars, those with a high view of Scripture who hold to the full inerrancy of the Bible, if you want to start a fight, just ask this question: who was Melchizedek? Seems like an odd question to start a fight over. But in the Old Testament, the answer seems clear enough. Melchizedek's story is told at the end of Genesis 14, when Abraham is returning from his battle to rescue Lot from the hand of the Canaanite kings. On his return from battle to Sodom, Abraham is met by Melchizedek, king of Salem, who brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High. And he blessed him and said, "Blessed be Abraham by God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hands." That's Genesis 14, 18, and 19. So the story seems simple enough. Melchizedek was the king of Salem, probably Jerusalem. He was also a priest, which may seem strange, but remember, Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, was also a priest of God Most High. There were people outside of Israel who did worship the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, God Most High, and some of these were priests, even though they were not Levites. In fact, in Abraham's day, there were no Levites yet. So far, all is clear enough. The only other reference to Melchizedek in the Old Testament is in Psalm 110, which most Bible scholars agree is a messianic psalm, which has this promise: "The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind. You are a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek." So the Messiah is promised to be a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. Well, Hebrews 7 picks up these two references and interprets them in the light of Christ. Just as Melchizedek was a priest and a king, so Jesus is also a priest and a king. Furthermore, Melchizedek was a legitimate priest of God, even though he was not a Levite, so Jesus is also a legitimate priest of God, even though he is not a Levite. Are you seeing anything worth fighting over yet? No, well, hold on, because Hebrews has more to say about Melchizedek. Hebrews says Melchizedek was greater than Abraham, who is the father of the faithful. After all, Abraham paid his tithe to Melchizedek, and Melchizedek in turn blessed Abraham. This certainly seems to indicate the superiority of Melchizedek. Even more, Hebrews points out that Melchizedek's name means King of Righteousness, and that his title, King of Salem, means King of Peace. So he is the King of righteousness and peace. But what really pushes the envelope and starts the Bible scholar brawl is verse 3. He is without father or mother or genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but resembling the Son of God, he continues a priest forever. Is Hebrews saying Melchizedek is a divine, supreme, eternal priest? It sure seems like it is. Is Melchizedek a priest forever just like Jesus? The strong language of verse 3 of Hebrews 7 has led many Bible scholars to conclude that Melchizedek must be nothing short of a Christophany, that is, an Old Testament manifestation of Jesus before the incarnation. So is he? Honestly, I don't know. Hebrews 7:3 doesn't definitely say he is, but it's hard to imagine such lofty language applying to any mere human being. What human could be so great as to be like Jesus in these incredible ways without being a manifestation of Jesus himself? So my stirring and provocative answer to this intense Bible debate is, I don't know. But it sure does seem to me like Melchizedek is something extraordinary. If not a full-fledged manifestation of Christ before the incarnation, he is certainly a powerful type or foreshadowing of Christ, as we'll see in the days to come.